everybody. This is Matthew here at the Nacelle booth at Toy Fair 2025, here with Brian Volk Weiss once again. Our favorite dude from Nacelle here. That's not named Brian Adams. We got a lot of lovely people here at Nacelle.
We got a lot of Brians.
So many great toys today. You've got so many wonderful new things here. But we got to start with the main event, at least for me. You guys have Star Trek. We talked about this on my podcast, Trek Untold, back in the fall. Here they are in the flesh, or the plastic in this case. Brian, if I may say, holy shit. These are amazing. Man, walk us through. This is the first time we've seen all the physical prototypes in person, right?
In New York, but these are some, not to get into the weeds, even though this couldn't be more into the weeds. Tuvik? No. Sulu, Garrett, Jellicoe, and Peter Preston. These are all second generation prototypes. Tuvik's, Wayun, Archer. Oh no, we also have Valkyris in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tuvik's. Yeah, so it's just those three actually.
All right,
Yeah,
so I missed out on those.
No, we did not have Sulu. I'm sorry. So in New York, we had Jellicoe, Preston, Garrett, and Valkyris. So those are all second. In fact, I think Valkyris is actually a third generation proto. Tuvik's is first gen. Wayun is first gen. Archer is as first gen as it gets. I had Archer. I held Archer for the first time on Tuesday. So that's bleeding new.
So what can you tell us that's new about these guys that we didn't know last time we chatted?
Sure. So first of all, Wave 1, very, very, very deliberately, is all characters that have never been made before. Some as a character have never been made before. Some as a character have never been made before in the costume we put them in. So like Valkyris has never been made. Garrett has never been made. Sulu's been made, but Star Trek VI Sulu has never been made. So that's why you get the nice little coffee cup. Jellicoe was never made. Peter Preston, I mean, it's amazing how much of Star Trek Wrath of Khan has been made. Preston, to me, is the most obvious person from Wrath of Khan who's never been made. And as I always say, Playmates made Salamander Tom Paris.
They sure did.
So if there's a Salamander Tom Paris and there's no Rachel Garrett or Peter Preston, Nacelle is here to change the Star Trek toy world. So these are all new characters that will look somewhat, if not completely unique on everybody's shelves. And the other thing we're doing, and we're trying to allude to it here, but not go too crazy, is I'm huge on accessories. I love G.I. Joe Classified. I've bought many G.I. Joe Classified because of the accessories, believe it or not. So, it's funny, I always say, if you're a Trekkie, what's the one thing Jellicoe should not come with? A fish tank. And in case anyone's not a Trekkie who's watching this, there's a scene where he takes over the Enterprise from Picard through Federation authority.
Very important note.
And he goes into Picard's office and he's barking orders and he's like, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, and get this fish out of the office, get this fish tank out of here. So you might be saying, Brian, if you know all that, why would he come with the fish tank? And there's two reasons. One, I think it's funny. So I think it's a very funny thing that fans could see this on a store shelf and be like, wait a minute, I thought he said he hates the fish tank. So, and this is obviously a prototype. I mean, it'll be painted and you'll actually be able to see the fish. But the other reason why we did it, and this is a big thing for me personally as a collector, let's say somebody doesn't want to buy Jellicoe. Like they're like, oh, I love Sulu, I love Garrett, I love Archer, but I don't really care about Jellicoe. But they probably own a lot of Picards. Maybe Picard that they already own would look good next to the fish tank. So that's the idea that, we want fans to mix and match. Same thing with Valkyris. Like, she's in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, for maybe 3 minutes. It might be 2 minutes. She gets killed. We're never going to see her again, right? But she hands a tape, and they call it a tape, even though it's 300 years from now. So she has the classified plans to the Genesis device. So her figure, of course, is going to come with the actual tape, but we're also including the control panel, the Genesis torpedo, and the Genesis torpedo clamshell carrying case.
Which looks so great. That's the first time it's been done in proper scale.
Never been done at scale. To the best of my knowledge, Playmates Con came with their version of this. Was that big and that big.
Little Tic Tac Genesis device.
Exactly. So we're making full size. I cannot guarantee this yet, but I want these to move. So I want these to be just like the movie, and I want this to be able to turn. The clamshell opens and closes, and this is all bleeding edge prototypes. So, like, I assure the world, they will be painted.
I have faith. I have faith in Nacelle. They're going to do us right, and they already have so far. So these look amazing. I really can't get over them. I want to talk more about them, but we got so much other stuff here in the booth, right? So one last note here. I know we do have prices now, right? I saw a price somewhere.
I've been promising everybody we'd be under $30. And we, by 1 penny, have been able to be under $29. So I can truthfully say these are $28, or I should say $28.99 but it's under $30, and that was obviously rumor has it the economy's not doing too well.
So I've been told.
So we really we're very, very price point minded. Yeah.
No, that's a great price point, because considering too there are accessories, there's going to be hands we talked about, a lot of stuff here. I think that's a good value. I mean, that's basically on par with like a Diamond Select figure, I think.
Oh yeah, and just so you know, her box is going to be bigger than his box.
And by his, we're talking about this big boy down here.
This is Terrible from Moo Mesa. But my point is, he was going to be the biggest Nacelle box ever. And because we decided to include her accessories, she will now be our biggest box ever.
Wow. Well, what a great segue that was, Brian, because now we can talk about Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
This is Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Up until about 5 hours ago, I could have said this is the newest member of the Nacelleverse, but about 5 hours ago, we announced that we acquired Barnyard Commandos. So those are only 5 hours old for us, but this is our second to newest brand. So this is Cowboys of Moo Mesa. It's also from the 90s. It's also barely an exaggeration to say it was spun off from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but this is wave one of Moo Mesa. And we have Calamity Kate, who comes with a Gatling gun, my favorite gun. We got Terrible, who's the big villain.
Look at that punum.
And definitely weighs our heaviest toy ever. And this is the main character, Marshall Moo Montana. And they come with a bonkers amount of accessories, and they are, she's a little crooked, not that I'm anal, but these are going to come out. These are going to start shipping out to the pre-orders and get to the stores. Hopefully within the next 90 days. So these will be out this year.
I do have to say, like, as excited as I am for Star Trek, which I am very much so, Cowboys of Moo Mesa is something way up my alley, so I cannot wait to get these in my hands. Looking amazing at this point, too.
Thank you.
And I think we got to jump down here once again. Another jump now. Jump cut, Basha, because the Expanse now. This, I know you're pretty proud about these toys, and for whatever reason, they should be. You should be proud about them.
So this is the Expanse, which... It's so funny. There's three kinds of people in the world. Actually, no. There's only two kinds of people in the world. There's the people that have seen the Expanse and worship it, and there's people who haven't seen the Expanse. That's it. I've never met anyone who started the show and didn't finish it. And this is it. I mean, these are the main characters. This is Holden, who's supposedly the main character. To me, my favorite character on The Expanse, and pretty much my favorite character in the history of television. That's not Star Trek or Star Wars. This is Avasarala. This is a gross exaggeration, so please don't light me up in the comments. She's basically the president of Earth. Anyone who loves Game of Thrones and loves that writing and loves those characters, she could fit right in and probably even beat Cersei, or anybody. That's Bobby in the back. She is a Martian, and in the Expanse, that doesn't mean she's an alien. It means she's a human who was born on Mars. She's wearing what's called a Goliath suit. That's like a mobile, it's like mobile armor, so she can go into space with it. It has an integrated Gatling gun under her right wrist. It has like kind of like a laser mounted on her shoulder. Drummer, the proto-molecule, who's kind of the bad guy, but not really. Spoiler. And it is, we got the rights to this very randomly. And without this, to be honest with you, I don't think we would have gotten Star Trek. But, and that chair, if you look up there, that thing that barely looks like a chair, that chair that we're showing here at Toy Fair for the first time. The show itself really pays a lot of attention and spends a lot of time talking about physics and the actual physics of being in outer space. And basically, I guess, on the Enterprise, when they go to warp speed, I guess everybody would be a quadruple paraplegic a minute later. This chair is what you have to use when you go faster than light, not to become a paraplegic. So that we're showing here for the first time. And the base it's sitting on, that is everybody who bought all 4 figures basically got one of those.
The base is beautiful. I am a base fan. I love bases in general. I wish more toys had them. I'm very jealous of all those Expanse toy fans who got this now.
And that's a hand-painted prototype, so it'll be a little more fancy when they ship.
Well, let's do a quick zigzag now up top here because we're talking about Robo Force.
So this is Robo Force Wave 2. Wave 1 was the first toy we ever made, and this is Wave 2. The difference between Wave 1 and Wave 2 is Wave 2, the pre-sale will be starting the day after the cartoon comes out. So we did a cartoon with The Rock that comes out on April 12th on Tubi. So this is the main villain. This is Hundred. That's kind of his quasi, it's an exaggeration to say protege, but this is Detonator, kind of his Frankenstein, for lack of a better word. This is Soda. She is kind of Max's right-hand girl, and she's like she's very smart, she's a phenomenal warrior, and she's the one who kind of helps Max prevent the worst parts of his personality from becoming a problem. All the accessories. This is Curmudgeon. He is also a main character. He is the comic relief in the show itself. The other thing that's very important about Curmudgeon to Nacelle, this is our first original character. So there was no Curmudgeon in the original lineup. We designed him from scratch. And like I said, he's not a huge character, but he's a pretty prominent, he's the series lead in season 1 of Robo Force. And then that's Terrible. That was a Oni Press exclusive that we did with them for anybody who ordered all of Wave 1 of our Nacelleverse comics. So you can't buy them anymore. We only made 1,000. So you are looking at least 2, maybe 3 of 3,000, of 1,000. So don't, I think maybe we made 1,500. I take it back. We only made 1,500 of those, but those basically, you can't get them anymore. Sorry. So this is Biker Mice from Mars Wave 2. So we have, just to run through the characters real quick, we got Carbine, who's obviously a mouse from Mars. We got Charlie. She's a human. Can you believe it? This is Limburger, who looks human, but actually is almost said Targaryen. Pretty sure he's not from Game of Thrones. This is one of his henchmen, Grease Pit. This is one of my favorite toys we have ever made. This is Dr. Carbuncle. Dr. Carbuncle, believe it or not, in case you can't tell, is a mad scientist. So we got Fred the Mutant. He's an accessory. He comes with Dr. Carbuncle, Grease Pit, Limburger, Charlie, and Carbine. And so if you're not aware, we're doing a cartoon right now with Ryan Reynolds that's in production. So just to walk you through what we're up to. So in 6 weeks, April 19th, Robo Force, the animated series, comes out on Tubi. Now, one of the things that a lot of people, now they may know, but a lot of people still don't know, is in season 1 of Robo Force, the animated series, we have all of our properties. So biker mice are in Robo Force. Cowboys of Moo Mesa, Sectars, one of the main villains in Robo Force, is a new character we invented named Deneen Baral, who is a sectarian. So if you look at the trailer, you'll see Garloo is all over it. The biker mice are all over it, very deliberately. So these characters are basically, even though none of these characters are in Robo Force, we are setting up, are in Robo Force, yes. We are setting up the second series that we have in production right now with Biker Mice from Mars.
So everything is connected.
Yeah, and they all come with a lot of accessories. I mean, he comes with at least 2 other heads. She comes with another head and then a third head with a helmet. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of accessories.
And I also know that the motorcycles for the Biker Mice, those just came out, I believe, so those are starting to get in the hands of a lot of collectors.
That's right.
This is my first time, I think. Glenn, I think I might have seen them back at Comic-Con also, but...
We had prototypes there.
Okay, this is the first time for
These
production
are
for me
all production. So every single thing you're looking at are production. These were the first vehicles we ever made. They light up, they have microchips and everything in them. And we're very excited about that. We spent a lot of time making sure the mice could actually sit on the bikes, which was pretty complicated because we made the figures first. We didn't know if we would be making the bikes. Turned out we were. And then as you know, you can see all 3 bikes are different. And also, I don't know if you ever noticed this, all 3 mice are different. So, Moto is the biggest. Vinny's the smallest.
Yeah.
So we had 3 different mice and 3 different bikes made 18 months apart. So that cost us about 3 months. I know some people were rightfully unhappy that we took so long, and I get it. I'm usually unhappy too at that. But that's why we wanted to make sure they sat on the bikes right. This is Sectars. So these you've seen before. These have been out for well over a year. This is the Walmart exclusive we did called Night Fighting Dargon. I don't know why he's bright silver. You would think at night you'd want to be a little darker, but what do I know?
Insects can't see silver, maybe?
Maybe.
That's
actually, I'm going to steal that from you.
Go for it.
That's a great line.
All yours.
But so we did that for Walmart. We have Wave 2 in development right now, and it will absolutely, positively involve the bugs.
All right.
Now this is something I'm super excited about. So you can see it here. Nacelle Mini, the Great Garloo. So this is something we're trying. This is brand new. So what we're trying to do is, this is ours right here. This is the finished product. It's still a prototype, but that's the finished product. So we're trying to do a lower price point. Check it out, $5.99. We're trying to do a lower price point of our characters. Thought I was in trouble.
Me too.
So
they can't prove anything.
If this works, the next one we would do, and I cannot tell you how excited I am about this. I don't know if anybody is but me, but the next Nacelle Mini would be Big Lou. And Big Lou is also in season 1 of Robo Force, the animated series. So hopefully that'll be our way, because I can't do a 7-inch Big Lou. I don't want to bankrupt the company just yet. These are all the various Garloos that we've done. This was the original. This is the Walmart exclusive, which we called Gar Blue. That's an exclusive we did with Diamond, and another exclusive we did with Diamond.
So Great Garloo has taken over once again. Decades later, he's back.
And these are licensing. We do this with Geeky Tiki. This is an old deal we did with Super 7. So we license as well. So that's why some people are like, why do you have that there? And I'm like, because, there's a lot of people that come to Toy Fair that are here to license stuff. This is wave 1 of Robo Force, except in newer packaging. So it's Gen 1 Robo Force and Gen 2 packaging. And this is the fireproof Max 89 that was a Walmart exclusive and is largely sold out. And it's obviously the same mold, just painted gold. But if you look at the comic books that we do with Oni Press, there is a scene, and this was done very deliberately. Walmart said they wanted an exclusive, so we decided, we knew costs and all that stuff, we just were going to pick a color. I picked gold. Everybody loves gold. And I told the writer, Melissa, who's writing all of the Biker Mice comics for us, I asked her, I said, listen, we have a scene, and also she did Robo Force Wave 1. I asked her, I was like, hey, Melissa, I know you hate this, but can you write a scene where Max hits a button and becomes fireproof and it's like a gold costume? And she, being the best, not just as a writer and artist, but she understands this wacky thing called commerce, she said, sure. And she wrote a really good scene where Max gets trapped by, believe it or not, some flame-throwing Utopia Aegis 101s, the villains in Robo Force, hits one of these buttons, and all of a sudden he's fireproof, and he can avoid the fire. So that's Max 89, fireproof Max 89.
And that is power, being able to say, hey, comic book writer, make this thing I made into a toy, be a part of the comic. There you go.
That was the first. By the way, I'll tell you the opposite of that. So it's funny you said that. So this is Wrecker. Wrecker is the first toy we ever put out with Max, and Wrecker from day 1 always came with a bouquet of flowers, always. And we've always heard for years, why does he come with flowers? Why does he come with flowers? Why does he come with flowers? We told everybody for years, you'll find out soon, you'll find out soon, you'll find out soon. And I'm gonna keep my word. But here's the truth that I only started saying pretty much today. We had no idea why there were flowers. The reason why there were flowers is because when I directed Toys That Made Us, I didn't go to business school. I never worked at Hasbro or Mattel. I don't know anything about anything. So much of what I know about the toy business came from making Toys That Made Us. One of the things I learned that I loved is Sanrio has this concept called little gifts. And you could buy a $5 plastic Hello Kitty purse. It'll come with a little 1 penny sticker. You could buy a $5,000 Gudetama covered in fucking diamonds, and it'll come with a $100 little thing. So they always try and do these little nice things to make people feel good about the purchase. So I was like, I want there to be a surprise. People like surprises. So when we decided to greenlight Robo Force the series, and we hired the writers, I had a list of 72 things that we needed to have in the series. Stuff that was obvious, like suction cups. They needed to have suction cups. All these other things, right? But what I also said is, we gotta figure out a reason why Wrecker comes with flowers. And we don't meet Wrecker until the last 30 seconds of the first episode, but the second episode is almost entirely Wrecker, and a dumb dog will understand why Wrecker comes with flowers after they watch the second episode.
And we're going to find out very soon, because
that's right.
Cut close up to Brian's chest, because Tubi, Robo Force,
World Tour!
There we go. So Brian, thank you so much.
I never did this fingers thing until I wore this shirt.
It was the first time for everything. So Brian, thank you for this amazing tour of everything here in the booth.
Thank you.
Cannot wait to see the Robo Force cartoon. Everything is glorious here. You guys rock. And everybody else who's watching, stick around. We're going to have more coverage from New York Toy Fair coming up very, very soon.
Woo!